Who got it better than us? Nobody!
Professional football in America is a special game, a unique game. Played nowhere else on earth, it is a rare game. The men who play it make it so.
Hey, everyone in, let's go! Huddle up on 3. 1, 2, 3, huddle up!
I can't never play football before. He calls them nothing.
You hear me?
They please us like we do.
Yes, sir.
They sweat just like we do.
Do you hear me?
They went through 2 days. We went through 2 days in 110-degree heat.
Yes, sir.
I want you to hit everything to move. If the ref gets in your way, you hit him.
Okay then, let's play.
But they're cheating us too. They're against us too. This is our team. This is us. Let's go right now. Let's get it up now. Let's go.
Back-to-back, man. You do not see this in college football.
But the Georgia Bulldogs bludgeoned their way to back-to-back. Glory, glory, Georgia, as the fight song says.
For the lead. Butker up, got it! And the Kansas City Chiefs have won Super Bowl 57. And now, welcome everyone to the Huddle Up Podcast.
You are looking live.
Hello, everyone. Welcome, Huddle Up Podcast. It is Tuesday, February the 6th, 2024, and the live season is running out on the crew this year, but we are glad to be back with you once again after a week off because, let's be honest, it's Pro Bowl week. Just about everybody takes the week off, right? But we are glad to be back with you. We'll be obviously previewing the big game and much, much more here tonight. So if you're with us live, give us a like and a share. We'd certainly appreciate that. And get into the comments and interact with us. We always do appreciate that. As well. Subscribe to the show on all podcast platforms and our YouTube channel, and get our merchandise over at tpublic.com. If you can rate and review us and tell your friends about us, we'd appreciate that because the shows do not stop after the Super Bowl, but they just kind of change format for the offseason. We'll talk more about that next week as we get ready to transition to the off-season program. But the gang's all here. Ernest, TJ, Christian, how you doing this week?
I'm doing well. I'm excited about the Super Bowl this week, finally. So, yeah.
Good stuff, man. Student of the game, Kyle Nash, how we doing?
Excited for the Super Bowl this week. Since what? Oh, wait, that's right. It's the other two panelists that gave me the we're tired of Kansas City Chief excellence being the answer here. I don't know, but yeah, we'll leave it at that. By the way, Jim, gotta ask. Seen a lot on you on Twitter about. I believe that the phrase was getting kicked in the balls when it comes to sport, and I do notice that you wear your Washington Capitals T-shirt here to try to feed into this propaganda. But have you forgotten already that you're a Michigan fan? Is this a thing we're doing?
Well, fuck you, Kyle.
Well played, jackass. Matt, how we doing this week?
We are doing well. Some unfortunate news about Joel Embiid, but Sixers season was already over back in November. So
I warned you 2 years ago.
Do about it. So, is what it is. Hope a speedy recovery for the reigning MVP there from the knee injury. But baseball season starts soon. I am kind of, I guess, looking forward to the Super Bowl. Whatever.
It's
Oh yeah, I know.
That season's already over.
Yeah,
EJ.
Mets season.
EJ, I can see why you don't give a shit about baseball.
By the way, 3-1.
We already know why Matt is sad about.
Are you telling me that my Capital score is that what you're?
They're coming back.
Yeah, I'm well aware. And Ovechkin had a goal tonight. I'm well aware.
Let's go,
Ovi. I'm well aware. I, unlike a Mets fan, am looking forward to baseball.
New ownership.
I gotta say,
new ownership, new ace pitcher.
Yeah, I
mean,
gotta say, I got a lot of friends who are Orioles fans, and they're pretty excited about this team next year.
It doesn't make sense. I've literally never been. I don't think I've ever been this excited for an Orioles season, literally ever in my life. So it's a weird It's a weird thing. We're gonna go through the journey together. That's
wow. We figure out what happens when a quarterback stays healthy throughout an entire NFC Championship game. Jim's looking forward to the Orioles. Everybody.
Mike joining in with us. Yes, let's go sports. Devin checking in as well. Yeah, well, Rangers fan.
Allegedly.
Rooting for Ovi and the Caps. Yeah, sure. Well, we know how he does with football teams. Maybe he'll just attach.
I'm rooting for Jim. I'm rooting for fucking.
Well, I
No, you're not.
I don't know why you're kissing up to me, but stop it.
Well, maybe I missed you too. It's been 2 weeks. I haven't seen you, buddy.
Me out, man.
Capitals fan, Panthers fan. Does he cheer for the Bolts too? I'm confused.
It's freaking me out, man.
More on that later.
Stop it. Freaking me out. All right, guys, let's dive into it. I'm not really gonna do good, bad, and ugly. There's the Pro Bowl's bad. Although I do like the Pro Bowl games.
I like the new format.
60,000 in attendance here in Orlando, Jim.
That's solid, man. I do like the new format better than the old.
I actually sat and watched it this year, like the whole event on Sunday. I didn't watch the skills thing before Sunday, but I at least watched everything that went on Sunday, from the game to the skills there.
I mean, the game itself is almost like skills competition ish in nature. Like it's not, it's not really. And I like that format better than even like what like the NHL does with All-Star games, because it's just it's this weird just 3-on-3 exhibition that just doesn't do anything. But we will look back to championship weekend, and we'll look at some of the NFL coaching stuff before we get to the Super Bowl predictions. So instead of doing good, bad, and ugly, let's play What Did We Learn? What did we learn? And it could be about the teams that are no longer with us in this postseason. But what did we learn from the AFC Championship? Matt, we'll start with you.
What did we learn from the AFC Championship? Though, I mean, you don't bet against Patrick Levon Mahomes.
The second.
Get
it right.
Yeah. He
that was Baltimore's game to lose. I think everyone had high hopes for that team and what Lamar was going to be able to prove. And I guess we also learned that you don't abandon the run, Baltimore.
yeah, that's certainly a thing. Student of the game, Kyle Nash, what did you learn from the AFC Championship?
With all due respect to Matt, I really don't know how to prop Patrick Levon Mahomes II as far as the lack of turnovers and management of the game. Oh, no. Did I just call him a game manager? No. Being a game manager shouldn't be a slur. And if the Ravens did that, to Matt's point, they would have won the football game. But no, what I learned and was reminded of is that the Chiefs are a defensive team. And the Chiefs are also that same defensive team that you would expected the dynastic from the first time. Well, actually from both instances, but the dynastic version of the New England Patriots. Maybe their maybe their ceiling is only so high, but their floor is only so low. And the consistency is what's killing teams, not their potential. It's very interesting to say.
Yeah, absolutely. EJ, what did you learn from the AFC title game?
Well, like Matt just said, I mean, one day we're going to not doubt this team. One day we're going to learn that lesson. Jim?
I don't think it was so much doubting the team as much as what happened on paper. I mean, how much did the Ravens have?
No, and again, it does feel a little more that the Ravens lost this game than the Chiefs won it, because, again, the Ravens were not who they were from week to week. And they became a totally different team in terms of personality. But again, this is another Chiefs year where we thought this is like a backwards rebuild or whatever it may be, or a down year, and everything's different. This time they go on the road twice for the first time. Mahomes' first time on the road in the playoffs in his career, wins 2 road games to get to the Super Bowl. So we're seeing the different goalpost move, and he's still grading A+ every time. I mean, one day we're going to start down this guy.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. It wasn't so much that I doubted Mahomes. I was providing context on what the Chiefs were telling me they were all season.
Oh, you're not wrong for that. For Jim, I'm not even blaming you. I'm just saying, 'cause they didn't show something that made you think that they could be here, but yet when it's time to play ball, these fuckers show up.
Well, and that's the thing, and it's something that I learned is the experience of the moment, and I think it's something we learned from even not necessarily as much the way that necessarily the game played out in Buffalo, but the experience of these deep runs. I mean, the Chiefs have been there; they're battle tested, like, and not that the Ravens haven't been to the playoffs, but it's different when you've been to how many Super Bowls and how many AFC title games and you've won how many Super Bowls versus a team that just kind of gets there.
Well,
Into the postseason.
Demetrius Jackson has been hurt. It's curious to wonder if he would have been battling with Patrick LeVon Mahomes II in those postseason years as well. We won't have that answer. That's all. I mean, this is up there with Dave Damashek and the NFL, right? So there you go.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And maybe that's something we'll be talking about a year from now, where Lamar and the Ravens learn from this experience. But yeah, like certainly to Matt's point, EJ's point, and it's the Chiefs and particularly Mahomes are and I think Rich Eisen said it on one of the shows last week, is Mahomes is, if you didn't think he was there before, he's now, I think, solidified in the never out of it territory. Like, where, you know what I mean? Where it doesn't matter. Because I think it was in 8 playoff games where they've trailed by like 10 or more in the second half, they're 6-2. So like you can't bet against them. And yeah, to again, also to Matt's point, another one I had down was for the Ravens, changing what got you there was certainly a choice. And I understand maybe the Chiefs were presenting something that the Ravens saw on tape that said maybe we can't run the ball the same way. But what they only had 3 designed runs in the first half or something.
I remember tweeting you, Jim, in first quarter of the game. I was saying to you, like the Ravens look tight. Like they look like
I think listen, for all the BS that Nick Wright spewed over the past couple of weeks with his Chiefs fandom, one thing I think he got absolutely right. And I think that's
Homer.
No doubt. Especially in that case, I think this thing that he has absolutely Ron Jeremy porn star style nailed is Patrick LeVon Mahomes II now has that mystique. I made this point too on the Student of the Game report, by the way, on the Earnestly Speaking podcast, that teams are now as scared of Mahomes as they were of Thomas Edward, Patrick Bieber, Brady.
Correct.
And rightly so. I think for a while. Hit the clat.
And rightly so.
It's funny. He's like those two and Montana, only 3 guys. I feel like you face those guys like, oh fuck.
Hey, it's John Candy.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, by the way,
I don't know if you delivered your lesson learned, but I have another one once yours is complete.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
This is what happened when you catch the funky ball. How about that? That's the lesson I learned. When the Chiefs receivers catch the ball, they win the football game. Granted, it was only 17 points. We're not giving the Ravens enough credit to hold the great and wondrous Patrick LeVon Mahomes II to only 17 points. But, I think that was a factor that they caught the goddamn ball.
How is it fitting that MVS was the one that pretty much clinched it, and the guy that blew the catch against the Eagles, and he's the one that clinched the game against the end?
I think he would have been funny if it was Kadarius Toney, but he has bigger problems right now.
He's done in case.
I would say he can't even get a jersey for the game, much less.
Oh, Stanley had a big catch against Buffalo too, right? Like back-to-back weeks.
I believe so.
Well,
something else I learned is, and hopefully the Ravens do, and in future situations, is turnovers inside the red zone are pretty costly.
Not great, Bob.
That like you look at that game and the way it played out.
Not great, Bob.
A end zone interception and end zone fumble certainly did not help matters.
Absolutely.
End zone fumbles only matter when the Chiefs do it, Jim. After all, that's the dumbest rule.
But the Chiefs recovered the fumble in the end zone, so they completed the turnover.
Oh
no!
We'll do this again.
I'm talking about the general concept of the ball being fumbled at the end zone and then it goes it being too harsh.
The dumbest rule in sports didn't come into play in this game because the Chiefs recovered it in the end zone in bounds. The fumbling into the end zone isn't the issue. It's when it goes out of bounds
Out of
in the
the
end zone that's the issue.
Isn't that what happened with Zay Flowers? Or no,
No, the Chiefs recovered.
That was the Bills game.
That's what it was. It was bad and it didn't go out of bounds. That's right. But even
But to your point though, that
should apply.
Insert Bart Simpson. At least you tried, Jeff.
But to your point, that whole Zay Flowers thing and all those turnovers, in the end zone is why it feels like the Ravens, kind of lost this game more than Chiefs won it. Chiefs get all the credit for winning the game, but
Odell Beckham Jr. having a cape on his back in the former player
Yeah.
play previous to the eventual interception. No wonder he threw a bad ball. He was frustrated again by seeing that happen.
We also learned that Travis Kelce's the only person on the field that's allowed to talk shit. Anyone else, it's a penalty.
That's that game that I was talking about. See, EJ, I saw it too. Remember, Matt, they don't ever catch the first guy that does it.
So is the extra.
And that's the problem. That's the problem. Yeah. Anything else from you guys from the AFC title game?
No. For me.
Devin said
I
we knew
that
that.
a lot of people apparently hate Patrick LaVon Mahomes II, but that's a whole
Why?
question. How can you hate Kermit the Frog? What the hell are we doing?
You want to hate his wife, fine. His brother, fine. But himself, I mean, come on.
I don't hate him as a player. I just think that there's probably some things that are getting a little bit annoying to me in terms of the constant asking for the flag. But I understand why he does it because he ultimately gets it. So
I would challenge you, and I mean no disrespect when I ask this question, Matt. I would challenge you to find me a guy. It doesn't have to be off the top of your head, but if you see a guy, you're like, he doesn't ask for very many flags.
Jalen Hurts.
Say again.
Jalen Hurts.
I have my doubts, but maybe though he is a pretty quiet guy. I mean, he may be.
I don't see him as a lot of flags.
You just don't hear it. That's perfect.
Right, and that's also fair.
The only reason it doesn't bother me though, because Matt's right about.
I don't think he's necessarily a flag hound. I agree.
Right, because Matt is right about that. He does ask a lot of flags, but he's every star player in every sport I ever watched in my lifetime, Michael Jordan included, LeBron James included.
Oh,
does
sure.
the same fucking thing.
Right.
So it's no different.
And it always bothers me when all of the greats do that, but I understand again why they do it.
Right.
Let's keep that Tom Brady energy in the room. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can attest for Matt that he treated Tom Brady with the same treatment as.
Oh no, he did. That's more.
He's treating Patrick Mahomes.
No,
for
listen,
sure.
We're not dealing in tool time terms here. I get it.
Devin says we knew the refs bet on red. Well, possibly. And Mike says what we learned: Lamar's weapons are still fragile, both mentally and physically. They need another year or two before they reach their apex.
That's a fantastic
part. This is among the healthier years they've had. Granted, Mark Andrews, of course, missed a lot of time, but other than the running back they lost in Jacksonville, and I think they had some line issues in the year. Like this is compared to other Ravens teams. I feel like this team was comparatively healthy.
Yeah.
They also do though have a lot of young players that probably aren't used to the 17, now 19 games of the season. It's more so probably what the physical.
Case in point, Zay Flowers. Case in point.
Yeah,
he was there to play. That's the mentally side you're talking.
Yeah.
So, all right, NFC title game. EJ, we'll start with you. What did you learn from the NFC title game?
Am I wrong for not being as bothered by Man Campbell's play calling and being aggressive? Because we complain about the Ravens not being who they were in this game. Detroit, however, was who they were in this game, right or wrong and indifferent. Look, would I have taken the points? Yes, probably so. But I do like the fact that Dan Campbell stayed true to who his team was all the way through from week 1 through the NFC title game. And yes, did it work? No, obviously, but the
first time, yes, he had the right play call. It was there. It was just an errant throw, dropped pass. Second time, I think, is a little bit where it got it.
Right.
Sketchy.
Joe says you're wrong, EJ.
No. I'm just again. Joe's not right, but I'm saying that I would have taken the points myself. I'm saying it's more so they were being true to their personality all year long. The Detroit team you saw on 2 Sundays ago is the same team you saw week 1, week 7, week 12, week 17, and the NFC title game.
It is, and
Baltimore was not the same team. Baltimore.
I texted. Well, I should say, a friend of mine near Detroit texted me on Monday. I was not going to bother him. I was going to give him his fair time to process the emotion.
As a fellow Lions fan, yeah.
But and absolutely, my Lions is a tough time for me. It's why we were off last week.
Yeah, by the way, enjoy Jim Harbaugh's championship, sir.
Well, exactly. We still got that going for us. My married into this, so the title's half mine shirt is still on its way. But he basically was kind of like, I said, I think I'm more angry for him than he was at the Lions. Said, look, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. And sure, but here's the thing: I look at the closing minutes of the game in Dallas, and when whatever you feel about what happened with the declared not declared linemen, Dan Campbell continued to go for it when he probably shouldn't have, and it cost them at least it cost them a chance to win in Dallas, in my opinion. And then this kind of happened here. The difference between 2-score and 3-score game maybe comes back to bite you in the end. So yeah, it's who they are. But I know if I'm a Lions fan, I'm pretty. You can't be mad at the season. You can be mad at the moment, and I think that's the good delineation there. I think it was a mistake by Campbell in the moment. I do.
The sad part, if he actually executes those fourth downs, for example, he's a genius. So literally, like,
yeah, I mean, well, that's the way it is. That's the way it is in every sport when you make a bold call, right? Like if we.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
If you make the daring choice and it works out, you look like a genius. I saw that idiot Greg Olson try and make a comparison to, because was it Matt yesterday was the anniversary of the Eagles winning the Super Bowl, and they showed a replay of Philly and Greg Olson's like, oh, they should have kicked it, and I'm like, you're not even close to comparing the same two things. Like the Eagles were had the game, and pretty well in hand. The Lions, it's the momentum was already starting to shift, and you just continued to hand it the other way. So it's like,
with the Philly special, they took the momentum. Like,
correct.
It's not out of hand. They shocked the Patriots.
Wasn't the game titled? It was by 3 at that point.
So it was up by
a 3, right?
6 at that.
It was close.
Point,
it was still close though, right?
Yeah, and then they went up by 13.
Right. It was close.
But if that play doesn't work, if it gets picked off and it's a pick 6 or something,
that was like, 4th down. Yeah, I mean,
Doug Peterson's an idiot. You should have taken the point. Blah, blah, you know what I mean? So, like, again, the difference between genius and idiot is how the play works out, right?
Well, for me, the talk is that he should have taken the points. I really only think that there's one time the decision was bad, and ironically, to make it a 17-point lead, Dan Campbell settled for a field goal earlier in the game. Everyone seems to have forgotten that.
But right before the half.
Right. So I think the one where Dan Campbell truly screwed up is when he had the opportunity to go up 3 scores again and blew it. Now, the other one, hey, listen, I could take or leave. I understand. I'm still waiting for my grit hat, whatever. And I think EJ made the point best. And I will summarize it in a fashion that he will remember too for sure. You stayed with what got you there. Okay. So, but the analytics would have sided with going up 3 scores as the actual data man in the room,
Right.
Yeah. So I'll leave that at that. Yeah. I'm not going to say I wasn't mad at it. Was I screaming at the TV that you should have taken the points? Only when the opportunity to go up 3 scores was on the board. The other one didn't bother me.
It only stood out for me too because the first game we saw a team that was not who they were for 18 weeks of the year.
Oh, by the way, I will correct you in this one fashion. Who they were is the Lions a team that throws the ball 41 times? So no, they didn't stick with their identity. That's what I'm telling you.
No, I mean more so about the aggressiveness of who they are.
Yeah, but they too supplanted to panic and ended up, even though Jared Goff threw the ball so few times as he did in the first half, he finished throwing it 41 times. Guys, I scoff at Goff. I've said that many times. But throwing it 41 times in his hands, people can hate on Brock Purdy all you want. I'd rather see Brock throw 41 times than Goff for certain.
That's fair. Student of the game, Kyle Nash, what did you learn from the NFC title game?
Well, when it comes to the 49ers,
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on.
sorry, no. With all that in mind, listen, I just had to do something to apologize for the fact that I still don't have a seat on the couch in the security van. But listen, I think we already touched on it in spades. I think what we learned is that Detroit defense has got to shore up, because all they had to do was make a play.
Mm-hmm.
Those tight ends need to get, they need some sort of medicine for lemon booty, because those dropped passes were really what caused the demise of the Detroit Lions. And I also learned you all fools need to stop hating on Brock Purdy. Not you three, obviously, but
yeah, maybe me. Matt, what did you learn from the NFC title game?
Yeah, I think that it's been talked about, but a lot of it falls onto Detroit, and I think that it's kind of one of those things in both games for the 49ers. It was kind of them taking control of the moment when it presented itself. Green Bay had the chance to put that game away. They did not. San Francisco capitalized. Detroit had the chance to put the game away. They did not. San Francisco capitalized. So you can say, was this more Detroit, Green Bay losing than San Fran winning? It doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, San Fran did what they needed to do to win the game. So, for all the criticism that Purdy does get, and I have been one of those people that has been skeptical at times, he's at least in this playoff run taking those opportunities. He didn't play great against Green Bay, but when he needed to, he did. Didn't really play as great against, Detroit, but when he needed to, he made the throws, made the plays, made the runs that I think a lot of people were kind of, can he do this with his feet? He showed that he can and won them the game. So I think that just kind of showed us that if you want to call him a game manager, you can, but he's managing to win ultimately.
Yeah, he's a winning man.
Yeah. I think kind of in the similar line, but I'll change it to the Niners side and we saw it not only in the NFC title game, but in the divisional round as well. You can't give this team an inch. Like if you think you have them down, finish the job. Don't let them off the mat, because
you were about to say don't play with your food.
No, I absolutely was not. Only an asshole would say something like that.
For real, who says that kind of shit?
For a team called the Lions, though, I would allow that.
But I mean, honestly, man, like it's when you have a team that's that good, if you have them in a position where you can absolutely bury them and put the game away, and for whatever reason you can't do it, that team's going to take advantage of it, and we've seen it the last two times out with the 49ers for sure. So
I feel like we've had this conversation about the New England Patriots in their past. And so, gentlemen, let me offer this pop quiz, because I literally just thought of it. Which team felt more like they experienced the lucky Patriots playoff win as we saw over the years? Is it the Niners or the Chiefs?
So one more time. I'm sorry. Say that one more time.
Which one of the wins felt more like a lucky escape playoff win that the Patriots executed in their dynastic time?
That's a good question.
I think Kansas City against Buffalo gives me more of that feel than their game against the Ravens.
Yeah, I'd lean San Francisco from championship weekend. I'd lean 49ers, because I understand Zay Flowers had the fumble, but like that's a good play by the Chiefs defense. Lamar Jackson threw a bad ball, but you still got to read the pass and make the catch. What happened in San Francisco felt more like the Lions. It felt more like the Lions truly handing it away.
It felt like the Falcons 28-3 collapse almost.
Yeah,
I don't know if I go that far though, because
not to that extent,
right?
But
let me tell you why I agree with Matt, right? There was the foot catch play for Edelman that kind of mimicked, Byrne agrees with us, that kind of mimicked the Ayuk catch off the guy.
Yeah, like just kind of a little bit of quote-unquote dumb luck.
Yeah, I mean, success is the intersection of luck and opportunity, right?
Because San Fran is the answer, but I don't feel like San Fran is the answer, but it didn't feel lucky. You know what I'm saying? San Fran, 24/7 halftime.
Each one felt lucky.
It's not insurmountable. 24/7 is not insurmountable.
Which
you know what I'm
one
saying?
lucky? Well, no one had an insurmountable lead more than the Lions this weekend, right? I mean, at the end of the day, the most the Chiefs were up was 2 scores at times.
17-3, right?
So, with all due respect, you know,
and I still, even at 24/7, I still felt like San Fran makes a stop here, 3 and out here, score here, 3 out there. All of a sudden, you're back, you one score down, going to the fourth quarter, and then what? So it didn't feel as insurmountable.
I wonder if somewhere deep down, man, Campbell's like, should have taken those points in the first half. Should have ridden that wave, got another touchdown. Grit, woo!
Well, yeah, and that was the surprising part about the field goal from the 2-yard line. It was like that was
to end the first half, right?
Yeah, at the end of the first half.
Right.
They were snapping it from the 2. It was like that felt very un-Lions like. It definitely.
But if I'm a Lions fan, I'm clinging to life that the lessons learned. We've seen he's capable of doing it, and maybe in the future he'll have just a hint. And listen, I don't want Man Campbell to change either. I also have the very controversial opinion that he's just a gap coach, and for the Lions to actually get to the Super Bowl, they need another mind to get them over the top. I don't know who that is.
I'm so glad you said that, Kyle, because we discussed it today. I'm going to ask these two guys, because we asked on the podcast earlier today. Next year, of these 2 losing teams this weekend, who's more likely to get back to this spot next year of the 2 teams?
Of the 2 losing teams.
2 losing teams, right, to get back into the title game next year.
So are the Lions or Ravens more likely to make it?
I say Lions.
I said Lions just because of the AFC.
Bingo. That's the answer.
Yeah.
Joey Burrow's coming back.
Joey Burrow's going to be coming back.
Way more hurdles in the AFC. CJ Stroud, all this stuff.
If AA Ron Charlie Rodgers can stay healthy,
do it for 17 weeks, Jim.
Well, right, but by all accounts, the Jets should be better. The
Steelers don't have to play Trubisky. They might win a few more games.
If they can't figure out to not
Trubisky or whatever the hell.
There's a second Harbaugh now in the conference.
They might still have to play Kenny Pickett.
And Jim, there's a second Harbaugh in the conference now too. On top of that,
a
lot of things there.
AFC, if you're the AFC, you're already asking who's got it better than us. Okay,
there's a lot.
Who's got it better than us? Nobody.
I love that.
Jack.
The Raiders, by all accounts, should be better. I'm not saying that they're gonna.
They got questions.
Here's the thing: I'm not saying they're gonna contend, but they got to 7-9 after starting 2-8 or whatever.
That still blows my damn mind.
You know what I mean? So there's definitely Richardson's gonna be back with Indy.
That's another one. That's a lot of hurdles in the AFC.
The Texans are good. There's just
bookies. Who stays healthy longer, Quayron or AR? That would be an interesting conversation.
Oh, I would lean AR just because of youth at that point.
Sure, but
wait, are the Jets changing is MetLife going to grass, or is that just for when
they're going to have to before the World Cup?
Yeah, for the World Cup, they will. But
right.
if they don't change it permanently, then
once the soccer players won't be faking the injuries.
There you go. But yeah, I would say the Lions as well for that reason. It's just it's the NFC is an easier road.
Yes.
Okay, tell Homer ass Mikey Byrne, get his comment up. Tell Homer ass Mikey Byrne that New England is not a tough out. That next one down. That New England is not a tough out yet, and I don't care if they have your old OC there.
All 3 teams.
The Denver Broncos.
All 3 teams will be bottom feeders next year in the AFC.
Your homerism showing there. I'm not that prepared to buy into Pierce over Peyton yet. I need to see draft picks and movement before I can confirm.
Right. Wilson's. It's going to depend in part too who Denver's going to have under center.
I agree with Mike's first part though about Joey B being back. Although even the Bengals are kind of transitioning to themselves.
Every other team but those 3 are going to be a tough out. Okay.
Gotcha. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There you go.
So I can see my Rito, which is the opposite of a typo, apparently.
So Mike is 100% right across the board on all those things.
All right, looking back at what we learned, Mikey B says Dan Campbell did not change his play calling. He's going to be who's going to be. He became America's coach by doing it. He failed down the stretch. He said also he learned Jared Goff's still good enough for Detroit. Devin said he learned that the Lions coach should go with the points instead of going for the touchdown.
Failed down the stretch. He did win 2 playoff games. I don't know that it's accurate to say
well,
that.
I think
Campbell 2-1 in the playoffs. That's what I know.
Yeah.
More playoff games in a month he worked in the last like 70 years. So there you go.
No, but he could have won 3.
Yeah, of course.
He has more playoff wins than Matt Stafford in Detroit. I know that, God damn it.
Well, that's true. But all right, let's look, guys. Let's look at the coaching positions in the NFL. All the open coaching jobs have been filled, and we will start. Let's start in Washington. I got the records from the season. I got the new head coach, and I got questions on how we think the future might look for these teams. So we'll start in Washington. They hire Dan Quinn away from the Dallas Cowboys. 4-13 this season. With obviously we don't know what draft stock is going to be. We don't know what offseason moves are going to be. Certainly when we come back together in August and preview the NFL season, we'll have a much more accurate look at all of this. But will or can Washington get to, let's say, 500 next year, EJ?
I lean no, but there's a lot of questions in that division going forward. Like I think the Cowboys and Eagles still be pretty good. Should win at least 10 games next year. But if there's a fall off for some reason, one of those two teams, is a chance that Washington could maybe clip a couple games here and there, not knowing the schedule next year too, especially if they play what division next year when the AFC, whatever. So I'm going to lean no. But
right, Kyle?
We'll see.
Yeah, you say we don't know the offseason moves. Here's one that I know Dan Quinn has already made that makes me know they're going to be awful. Hey, guys, Eric Bieniemy's out. We're bringing in Cliff Kingsbury. Woo! Who's stoked for that? Who's got it better than you, Mamma Jammas? Everybody, okay? By the way, I won't even get... Yeah, right? That's not a bad one, Jim. I almost prompted you for Brad Pitt from Moneyball, but I will definitely take the... That makes sense.
And what the fuck are you talking about?
The number 2 in the draft this year.
Eric Bieniemy not getting that head coaching job, by the way, already is a red flag all over the place. You bring in minority ownership, and then you have the opportunity to finally get Eric Bieniemy, the poster child for a passed over minority candidate who, by the way, happens to be good at coaching football, and then you don't hire him. I don't get it. But yeah, let's bring in the defensive expert who got blasted by Jordan Love, aka Brett Favre 2.0. Great call. By the way, still going to get a Christmas card from me for bringing in Chase Young.
I mean, I'm certainly not going to defend the defensive performance in that game, but there was also injury and personnel issues that were not Dan Quinn's choice. I will say that.
For a team that's going to clean house, though, for a team that's going to clean house left to right, Dan Quinn, I'm not saying he's a bad coach, but it feels underwhelming.
It does feel
I'm just saying.
I mean,
such is life of rooting for a team that is owned by Josh Harris.
You know all too well.
I sure do.
I mean, yeah, it's not Dan Snyder anymore. That's the upside.
Trust
That's
the
true.
process. Trust.
Thanks for Doc Rivers there, Josh. Basically, the Doc Rivers hire that the Commanders could have made, and they did.
Hindsight is 2020, my friend.
That's a good comp there, actually. I like that comp.
Well, I don't know, Dan Quinn has that much controversy with his former teams. I
never seen one guy get so much juice out of one championship like happened like 16 years ago. Sorry, Mikey. Sorry, Mikey. I didn't mean to insult you, Celtics, but come on now.
Haters.
I mean, am I not sitting in that similar scenario with my current NFL head coach?
Absolutely.
Milking that
it's kind of similar, actually. Think about it.
It's very similar, unfortunately for me. Matt, can Washington get to 500 next year?
No, I think they'll have probably a rookie QB. So I don't think that 500 will be in the cards, but we'll see what they assemble, what the future will look like.
They'll drive Kyle's boy, Drake May.
I was about to say, like, if they go from Sam Howell to Drake May, y'all motherfuckers aren't going to hear it. Holy shit.
Gee, that's a surprise. No, I don't think Washington gets to 500
It's a surprise how many people screw up on ACC quarterbacks back to back.
That's a good point.
Fair. Well, you never know. Maybe the Jags will pick one up as well. No, I'm kidding. No, I don't think Washington gets to 500 next year, depending on offseason moves and a rebuild, because that's where Washington is. This is a total rebuild from the ground up. Give it a couple seasons. If you make some smart choices, who knows? But definitely not next year. Mike thinks they trade for Justin Fields.
I don't. They will need to pay him if they do. And
I don't think they don't have the offensive line to make that a smart trade either, do they?
That's also a fantastic point, Jim. Well done.
All right. Seattle 9-8 this season. They move on from Pete Carroll. Mike McDonald is the new head coach. Can they stay at least 9-8? One more year with Geno Smith. EJ, can Seattle at least keep it where they are?
They'll hang around 9-8, 8-9. I don't think they'll get any better. I mean, they have a good defense, but I mean, the Rams should be better next year if they're healthy. We saw this year what the weapons they added to that team.
Why?
So that helps. San Francisco is going to be creaming that division. So I don't see Seattle cratering, but I don't see Seattle getting better.
Okay. Kyle?
Well, first of all, I don't understand why you think the Rams will get better next year, but cool story.
The young talent they drafted this past year.
Great. And Matt Stafford, you're assuming is going
to... Oh, no. As I said that, preface it with saying as long as they're healthy, yes.
Well, and what I'm trying to tell you is that's a big GD if. And by the way, the Seahawks are only not involved in the playoffs on the strength of a 17-16 Rams loss. So let's acknowledge how close the Seahawks were to being in the postseason themselves. I think Pete Carroll still being in the building will make a difference. I think they have the opportunity to maintain be a playoff threat. Do I believe he will get them to a Super Bowl? No, I do not. I think their salary cap issues are too crazy. Let's see what happens in the offseason, obviously, but you'll see what happens.
All right, Matt.
I think status quo for Seattle. I don't foresee them doing much better than they did, unfortunately. But happy trails, Pete.
Wow.
I think they'll stay about the same. Maybe an additional loss or two with a new head coach. But I don't see the bottom falling out. I also don't see the ceiling getting super high. Mike says Drew Lock or bust. Good luck with that. The Atlanta Fraudcon 7-10 this year. New head coach Raheem Morris. Obviously, I think the biggest question going into this offseason is the quarterback position. But despite all of that this year, they were still in the hunt for a division title to the very end. So, EJ, will the Fraudcons compete for a division title next year?
Yeah, they will, because at this point, there's no one else in that division that's separate themselves right now. I mean, Tampa, we'll see if Mike Evans is back next year. First off, start there and Baker Mayfield, see what his contract looks like going forward, if he's even there. But
I would bet good money that he will be there.
Right, I agree.
Like Kevin's thing is the question.
But no one else has separated themselves to say that Atlanta can be in the mix at least.
And let's also, can Tampa hold on to that defense as it's currently structured too? I think that should be asked.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
Great point. Kyle, Fraudcons division title in question?
So I know everybody tells me, all the stuff he did with the Rams. You mean under coach Sean McVay, who at one point, if you had lunch with Sean McVay, you were apparently an NFL coaching candidate.
I remember that.
And then last time, Raheem Morris, which granted is a long-ass time ago, was asked to pick a quarterback to start a new franchise. Josh Freeman was his answer. Now, I expect everybody to do something out of a Guardian of the Galaxy movie and go, who? And that's my point.
Who the hell is this?
So I'm told I should give Raheem Morris another shot, and in fairness, because it's been that long, I will. But listen, EJ already nailed it. Will they compete for the division is the question. And because you are fighting over a city dump, The answer is yes.
That's fair, Matt.
Well, as tough as it will see to have them competing with the best team in the NFC, the New Orleans Saints.
I knew he was going to do that.
The overall top spot in the South, I think that the division will be wide open. They have the offensive talent. They just need the quarterback. So we'll see what they do in the offseason and the draft. But I mean, anyone is a candidate in the South except for the team we're going to talk about next.
Wait, Matt, did you say New Orleans Saints?
Allegedly.
Dude, it didn't
yeah.
turn the volume up. Damn it. Oh, it was going to be great. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I would assume they have to address the quarterback position. The Ritter Heineke experiment did not go that well at all, and that's probably an understatement. Despite being in the hunt for a division title, if they don't address it, I think it's a hard. Even in that division, I think it's going to be not a hard test, but a test nonetheless. To be in the division title conversation with a first-year head coach and a really bad quarterback situation. Again, they have the weapons there. So if you get a good quarterback, be it through a trade, through the draft, however they're going to do it, but they have to address that position.
Wait. Did somebody say New Orleans Saints?
All I do is win, no matter what.
Okay, go ahead.
There we go. Well done. The Carolina Panthers, 2-15. They bring in Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive coordinator Dan Canellis. I like it feels weird to try and set like a mark for where this team could be, but can they get like 3 to 4 wins better? Can they get to 5 wins? Can they get to 6 wins, EJ?
Yeah, because the NFC is not that great. There's opportunities there. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but you asked me, is it possible? Yeah, I can't rule it out. Of course not. In that conference, no.
All right.
I think the last time we had this poisoned the job is when Art Shell and Tom Cable were asked to come in to coach the Raiders. Y'all fools remember that?
Oh, I remember those days.
Yeah, wow.
And Art Shell's second time, not the first time, it was good.
Correct. Yes, thank you, WJ Christian. Well done.
So Kyle, can they get 3 wins better? 4 wins better?
I mean, listen, I don't mean to make it sound like EJ's stealing my notes, but yeah, he's right. The division makes that a factor. And if there's a key injury or something, if the Panthers actually do some key draft picking, wait. Yeah. So no, actually the answer to me is no. I think the cap is 5 wins. They may improve that much. That still represents a 3-win improvement. That's enough to keep Dave Canellis in the building at least. And when they finally get to a point to when they can have a top level draft pick, maybe they do something. I don't know. I'm skeptical at the very least, but yeah.
That's fair. Matt?
Can they do better than what they did last year? Sure. But will they do great? No.
Yeah, a couple of wins better. Sure, you would think that in Bryce Young's second year, he's going to improve. At least you sure as shit hope so for not taking CJ Stroud. But yeah, there is no and should not be any lofty expectations for the Carolina Panthers next year. All right, Los Angeles Chargers, 5-12 this season. They bring in Jim Harbaugh from Michigan. I'm gonna set the bar maybe a little bit higher for them. Can they flip their record and go 12-5 and compete for the West, EJ?
I think 12-5 is a little too high for them. I do think they can compete for a wild card. I think they'll definitely be in the mix for at least 10 wins next year. But because Jim Harbaugh, that's what he does. All he does is, Kyle, win.
Kyle, play this song.
Go on, Kyle, it's your cue.
Hey, so this is how it is. I'm not used to running the sound.
All I do is win, no matter what.
No, they got a lot of questions with the cap situation, obviously, and whatnot. But I think Jim Harbaugh, when you have a quarterback in place, a guy who we all consider still a top 10 guy, you're in a good spot. And this team was a 10-win team with one of the worst coaches I've ever seen in my entire life with Brandon Staley. You mean Tony?
You weren't a Brandon Staley guy?
Allegedly.
Why didn't you say anything? DJ, we've done this
Allegedly.
No, but
for how many years?
So if Brandon Staley could get this team to 9-10 wins, at least before this past season, Jim Harbaugh can at the very least, even with patchwork cap situation, can at least get them to a 10-win situation. 12-5 though, a little too much.
A little too high. All right, Kyle.
I'm not prepared. Actually, listen, if you think they're going to go 12-5 next year, the only thing that's higher than you are is EJ on his edible. Okay,
there you go.
And this isn't this isn't Jim Harbaugh's fault. The cap situation.
Crack, don't you?
Well, yeah. If you think he's going to have 12 wins, I would implore that you don't do
math.
There you go. So with all that in mind, I don't see, because the salary cap situation on both sides is completely screwed, right? They have, I think Lindsey's is his name, the offensive lineman. He's a big cap number. They extended Herbert. The receivers cap number are absolutely stupid. I think they combine for like 60 something million.
Yeah, I think Matt said this some 2 weeks ago on the show about how their receivers are, maybe it's the wrong team to think about, but
well, regardless,
yeah,
they're absolutely out of control.
Oh, it's Buffalo. You're right. It's Buffalo. I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
Oh, right. But nonetheless, I would argue that the Chargers situation is potentially worse without.
Yeah, I agree.
Bills situation. Austin Eckler in there somewhere is an issue. Khalil Mack is a problem as their top defensive player and being 845 billion years old. Joey Bosa has his own issues with the cap being a cap hit, as well as often missing time and not having the most important availability. And Derwin James is being paid like a safety god when really, I'm not saying he's not living up to his contract value as much as a Russell Wilson, but yeah, he's not delivering on that there too. They are in fact an entire mess. You're gonna need Harbaugh to draft just like he did when he was on the cusp of San Francisco, as I wrote at the time. So
we'll say this much: if he gets 12-5 next year, there's your early coach of your favorite.
Well, sure. I mean, just because he's a favorite and earns it doesn't mean he'll get it. There are people on this panel who think it's D'Amico Ryans over Shane Steichen or any.
There's people on this panel who still think Ryan DeBolt deserved it last year.
Well, he did. Get over it.
Just stand there in your wrongness and be wrong and get used to it.
He did with the award, though. Just for the record. Just clear.
Matt, shut up. Matt, the Chargers get to 12-5.
I don't think 12-5. I think 10 wins would probably be a more reasonable bar for this. I don't know why we're crowning Harbaugh as the coach that only wins when it took him, 8 years to do that with Michigan. And color me unimpressed.
That's a little unfair.
Wow. Spoken like a true Notre Dame homer.
That's right. Someone on this panel has to be. EJ's given up his.
Mark.
So too was Jim. Am I right? Anyways,
Mark.
Yeah, I think 12. I think 12 wins in the first season, maybe a little bit of a stretch. I do. This team is going to be, I think, definitely immediately better. And yeah, I mean, there's plenty of work that needs to be done in the off season in terms of contract work or personnel work. And honestly, hopefully the change of strength and conditioning personnel can make a difference in some of those guys, like some receivers, like Joey Bosa, and like Eckler, that if they're in the building, they can actually stay on the field, because that's one thing that has hurt Brandon Staley, Ernest's favorite coach in the history of the NFL aside. The injury problems did the Chargers in for years, for sure. All right, the Tennessee Titans 6-11. This season they bring in Bengals OC Brian Callahan. We just kind of touched on them a minute ago about them being bottom feeders in the conference. Can they even be expected to repeat 6-11, EJ?
No, I don't see it, and it's mainly because of the environment. The AFC is just too damn good. That division alone, it's what the Colts this year. It should be better this year. Jaguars are going to be improved, I imagine, at least. Sure, it can't be worse than he was last year. I mean, with injuries, all that aside. Allegedly. And so, because right now they're the worst team in the division. It's not even close right now.
Yeah.
Let's start there. Okay. Then the rest of the conference. I mean, find the wins. Find the wins. So no, they'll be one of the worst teams in football next year. Period.
All right, Kyle.
You know, I really hate it when you put me in a position to defend the Titans, but your takes are literally that bad.
Really?
Can we account for the
You're
fact
better than this. You're smarter than this. At least I thought so.
No, Jim. No.
Nobody thought that.
No.
Yeah.
The Jags are going to improve is a bold fucking statement. Have you seen their cap situation lately? No, I know you haven't. And by the way, if you're still enough of an idiot to think that Trevor Lawrence was the problem, you didn't watch a single minute of Jacksonville Jaguar football, and that's abundantly clear.
He wasn't special. That's all I'm saying. He wasn't terrible. Wasn't special though.
That's special is your mental state as you ride the bus to school on the short one. Listen, what I'm trying to say is, if you're looking at just stats, and I'm going to put you to the canvas on this, like the offensive line situation is absolutely awful. Luke Fortner graded out as the worst center in the league. And even in getting Ezra Cleveland late in the season to start at guard, they were still a shambles on the offensive line. The reason why the Jags did as good as they did was because Trevor held them together and he had suffered 3 injuries doing it. But yeah, let's put it all on the blonde.
So
here.
you're sitting there, so the Jags are going to crater then next year.
I'm saying it's on the table.
Crater, so the Jags are going to be a 6-5 win team next year. In other words,
I'm saying that's the worst case scenario.
That's I mean, okay.
Hey, listen, you didn't want to believe, y'all motherfuckers didn't want to believe me when I told you that the Titans would have as many or more, or excuse me, the Texans would have as many or more wins than the Titans. Who's laughing now, motherfuckers?
I tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen.
Well played, Big Jim. Look at this.
So they gave me the big bucks, Kyle.
I mean, this you can continue to doubt me as many did. And well, hey, listen, in August, Lucifer Morningstar did reign supreme. He's not wrong. So I would suggest you at least listen to me before you pull the ire of Nathan R. Jessup. But the punchline's this. I do like the hire from this standpoint.
You can't handle the truth.
Here's where I think you're right. And I know that's hard to believe. Brian Callahan comes from, I know, right? The Bengals. What is the Bengals offense designed to do? Get the ball to good skill players while accounting for a quarterback who's minimally protected. Okay. I don't know DeAndre Hopkins' situation, but I think he has one more year he's playing there, right? Burks is a good receiver. And then Tajay Spears, no, I didn't say Derrick Henry. I don't even think he'll be in the damn building next year. Tajay Spears is enough of a Swiss Army knife that you could get use out of that. And now that offensive line, I doubt you can improve it to where it needs to be in a single season. We've seen rookie offensive linemen be slower to develop in this day and age with fewer contact practices, right? I think a coach whose offensive mind is used to not only making a Joey Burr look good, but a Jake Browning as well, which we're not talking enough about, in my opinion, is something that'll lift that offense up. However, they need to not have as many defensive injuries this year as last year, and maybe they can match their 6-win record. I think asking for that to happen is not a tall task.
To your point, though, about the Jags, about the Jags, though, Kyle, if they crater, then Doug Peterson hot seat, right?
Hot seat my ass. I think he's gone.
Ooh. Okay.
All right, Matt.
Matt.
EJ's just passion for putting coaches in the hot.
Well, I mean, hello. They're going back. They're going back. In Kyle's eyes, they're going backwards. So there you go.
I didn't say that. I said it's on the table.
The Titans better than 6-11. I don't think so.
Can they get back to 6-11?
I could see that maybe, but they're not going to pass that. I would put 6 as the cap.
Yeah, and I think like 6. You know, again, not knowing the next couple months are going to do, but like I think this is another team that when you move on from Vrabel and there's going to be a million debates of whether or not it was the right choice or the wrong choice, and depending how this season goes, those debates are either going to get louder or quieter, probably louder. But this team is kind of in a, it's the end of the Tannehill era. Derrick Henry likely gone. I'm not sure if Hopkins is back another year, but it kind of implied late in the year that he would like to go to a contender. Can't blame him. So there's going to be a lot of change in Tennessee, and I struggle to see them getting back to even to 6 wins. Like, I think they are just going to have a very, very bad year. The Raiders, they went 8-9 this year. They were 5-4 after Antonio Pierce took over as the interim coach. Of course, the Chargers around them not very good in that division. They finished second. Should Raiders fans, I hate to use the word expect, but I'll use it for lack of a better word. Should the Raiders fans expect to make the playoffs, EJ?
They should at least be in the conversation. I mean, again, the AFC is tough. Who's the quarterback? I mean, Jimmy G is still on the roster, obviously, but
yeah, Jimmy G theoretically will be back. Whatever that means.
Let's see what the quarterback situation is at first, because Aiden O'Connell's the answer isn't the answer either. So, I mean, I'm gonna say if they're at least around 500, that should be satisfactory depending on the situation right now.
All right, Kyle.
Let's see how to best describe my answer. Bishop Bullwinkle, Tracy Morgan. Just a lot of fancy ways to say no is what I'm saying.
No, hell no.
Hell to the no.
That's fair. That's fair.
No.
That one I don't have on.
I'm so spoiled from that. I have that by when I'm with Drew Willingham on Sartoba Media's In or Out Sports debate show. That being said, hell no. Playoffs? Are you kidding me? Playoffs? I just want them to win a game. Listen, what you're telling me is a former player, interim coach turned full-time head coach, now has to battle with the following: a multi-Super Bowl winning coach, a Super Bowl winning coach, and a Super Bowl appearing and national championship coach. Bruh.
Right. Not great, Bob.
All right, Matt, should the Raiders fans expect the playoff?
I don't think they should expect it, but they should expect to see more positive strides. They might take a step back from that record, but I think that it'll just be more of like a learning curve. Have to assume there's a new QB in town. Building for the future is what the Raiders fans should be looking forward to.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think what they should expect to be is about where they were last year, which again, you can be in the conversation because they were in the conversation certainly at times after Antonio Pierce took over that job. Ultimately, they of course didn't make it, but I don't think you should expect to go to the playoffs. I think you can expect to be maybe in the conversation. And lastly, the Patriots 4-3. The Belichick era is over. Gerard Mayo takes over. He was on their coaching staff last year. Was kind of hired to be, as we've learned, the future head coach. So this was all part of the Patriots plan. Can this team improve to 6-11? Can they improve to 8-9, or are they going to get worse before they get better, EJ?
Barring a massive splash in the offseason, which I don't see, I think this hire is a rebuild for a long-term rebuild here going forward. No, they'll be a bottom favorite of the AFC East. They'll be one of the worst teams in football next year, but it'll be a start of a massive rebuild for this team going forward. So, no.
All right, Kyle.
I absolutely hate this hire. I'll be honest. Okay. I think it was not a good hire, and it's a missed opportunity. They should have gotten Brian Flores, a guy who has nursed a team through a rebuild and is a good foundation setter for what we're seeing with Mike McDaniel and Miami. Are they a Super Bowl team yet? No. But I think at the end of the day, Brian Flores was a guy who helped. And by the way, how much would you love the drama of Brian Flores facing the Finns twice a year? Hell yes. Hell yes. So yeah, no offense to Gerard Mayo, but I think that's a missed opportunity. I don't like the hire.
That's fair. So you see them getting worse?
I think they meet 4-13. How's that?
I can see that. Yeah,
that is fair. Matt, how about you?
Yeah, I think they maintain status quo at 4-13. I have to assume new quarterback situation because what they had wasn't working. They played musical quarterbacks. I think they go into the season with a new starting QB, probably from the draft, and they build from there.
Yeah, it's they will be no better than 4-13, and that still seems very odd to say about New England after what we have seen them be for so many years. But this team it's going to be a bit until they start to put this team together. I don't know if Gerard Mayo is the answer, but it's going to be a little bit till we find out. It'll be curious to see how much how much leeway he gets. I mean, again, this was a guy, it was hired to be the successor, so you would tend to think that Robert Kraft would give him time to work, but those fans aren't going to get any quieter. Once you taste victory, it's going to be harder for those fans to accept them not being in that spot. So all right, guys, let's look ahead to this Sunday. Of course, the final game of the NFL
What
season.
happened to the graphic?
Yeah, see Ravens and Niners. It is.
Oh, that was I fucked that up.
Let's go.
Was wishful thinking, maybe. But this Sunday, of course, Super Bowl 58 coverage begins. It says 11:30 Eastern time. Let's be honest, it began 2 days ago. But
That's a good point.
But the game kicks off 6:30 Eastern time on CBS on Paramount Plus. Chiefs 49ers. 49ers currently favored by 2.5. Your over under is 47.5. Before we get to actual game predictions, I know that we have done the blank will win if the topics throughout the year with different games. So let's start with this. EJ, the Chiefs will win if what?
If receivers catch the football, continue to do what they've done in the playoffs. Yeah.
Well, let's just say in one game. I wouldn't say playoffs there, EJ Christian.
Well, they caught the ball in Buffalo too.
I mean, the story with Buffalo, and Matt confirmed it at the time I said it, the story in Buffalo was the Chiefs and Andy Reid specifically running the football prolifically. That's
because I'm confident Casey defense will play well in this game. I'm confident that Pat Mahomes will show up and do his thing. It's those receivers.
Bold strategy, Cotton.
Yeah.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Kyle, the Chiefs will win if what?
Chris Jones has 2 or more of any of the following: tackles for loss, sacks, or any sort of turnover causing play in the backfield.
I like that.
All right, Matt.
The Chiefs will win if they get pressure on Purdy and actually wrap him up and sack him.
See what you did there, Matt Muehlheisen.
The Chiefs will win if they get out to a lead and they don't let up. If they continue to play the same aggressive game that gets them the lead.
I think
what Detroit didn't do.
I have the least fence-sitting answer on this panel. I'll put it that way.
If they don't do what Green Bay and Detroit did.
Right.
Devin says the Chiefs will win if Taylor Swift is there. There we go. EJ, actually, Matt, we'll start with you on this one. The 49ers will win if what?
If they continue to seize the moment like they've done in the last 2 weeks. If there's that opening and they take it, then they will get the victory. And I should say also, Godspeed to you if you're trying to watch the big game on Paramount Plus.
Why is that?
Terrible app.
I don't have a problem with it. I've always interesting.
I've only streamed it on my laptop while doing watch-alongs with Travis Holmes with the Duval Dive Live on the Pro Sports Fans app. But I've not attempted to use the application. I don't plan to use a streaming service to watch it that is available on network television, something that Big Jim doesn't understand is better for capitalism, but I digress.
I was going to say, I only stream my NFL games on Peacock, so I don't.
Yes, we are aware how much you love the cock.
I mean, greed is good, Kyle.
So thank you, woke Jim, for reminding me that greed is good.
No, I just didn't know Paramount Plus was a thing in terms of like the service not being well. I've maybe it's a PA thing, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean, as someone who watches it daily due to its library of Paw Patrol and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I can tell you it's a shitty app.
By the way, please.
And that's just for Matt. That's not for his daughter. That is just
yeah,
for
that's me.
Please not leave these in the Monster Machines and Team Umizoomi. Let's be clear.
Correct.
There you go. EJ, the 49ers will win if what?
If Brock Purdy plays a clean game, no mistakes. Because Casey will go into some mistakes. So Purdy's got to be nervous. He's got to play a clean game and play composed.
All right. Kyle, the
If
49ers.
Kyle Shanahan remembers who the actual MVP of this goddamn team is, and that is Christian McCaffrey. Listen, the reason they beat the Lions was they stayed true and loyal. 31 passes by Brock Purdy, 33 carries by the Lions run game. And a couple of those were Brock Purdy scrambling in elite fashion. You know, something your boy Thomas Edward Patrick Bieber Brady didn't do very much there, EJ Christian. So yeah,
I told him that.
I will say if they are balanced on offense, which is why I make the Chris Jones point, by the way. If they are balanced on offense, the Chiefs are in a bit of trouble. You're going to have a close football game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the 49ers win if they make Mahomes rely on his wide receivers. If they can get the running game going and those kind of gimmicky passes with the running backs, if they get Travis Kelce really cooking, I think the Niners could be in trouble. But if they make the game go to the Kansas City receivers, and I think the Niners are going to be in a really good spot. Devin says the Niners will win if they keep pressure on Mahomes and Travis Kelce. All right, so let's get to the actual predictions. Again, the 49ers are a 2.5-point favorite as it stands today. The over-under in this one is 47.5. EJ, we'll start with you.
I'm going to go with Kansas City win outright. And I really love the under in this game, actually.
Okay. Matt.
I will also take Kansas City to win, but I would take the over on this one.
I will take Kansas City to win. And I will go with Matt. I will take an over. I will go a slight over. Travis Holmes checks in. He says the 49ers will win if Pat Mahomes Sr. sees his shadow.
That's a good one.
There you go. Show the dignity of the Duval dive there, Travis Holmes. Well done. Big Cat Country.
There it is. Well done.
That was good. That was good, Travis.
Devin says Chiefs will win and there'll be a slight over. Student of the game, Kyle Nash. Of course, I left the pick to you last. What do you think will happen this Sunday?
The 49ers have scored more points. The 49ers are favored in this game.
No matter what, got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. Well, f*** you, Kyle.
Give me the Chiefs 31-17, slight over.
Oof.
Very, very good.
Very Pat McAfee of me, right?
Yes, very much so. All right. Well, we couldn't get away without doing this just one more time.
I completely.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I mean, last time the man gets a dance for us until
like
August.
All the time.
You're just jealous that he's better than you too, EJ.
All the times you gotta watch your shitty picks all year, and I gotta stay quiet until they're up on the screen.
Yeah, deal with it. And me stealing your answers for the last 12 years. Deal with it.
Laughing at the fact that I fooled Devin, just like you try to fool people that you know what you're talking about, except my job of fooling people was successful. Thank you, Devin. Yeah, but cool. You do you, Cowboys fan. Sorry, Patriots fan.
Play her, Kyle.
Chiefs fan.
I didn't say I did.
Fan.
There we go.
Sorry.
Capitals fan.
Shut the fuck
Capitals fan.
your fanhoods.
By the way, I never said I didn't enjoy the dance. I'm gonna say what the fuck you're doing. I'm enjoying what you're doing. I just don't know what's up.
So much shit.
Because I do. That's what I do. Get over it, bitch.
All right.
You're usually wrong. Oh, it's just another way you're wrong. How did I not figure that out?
That's right. All right. For the podcast listeners, it's simple. 2 Niners, 1 Chiefs. And go.
Yeah, I mean,
No arguments.
I'm not going to argue with it. Kyle, you want to argue with it?
No.
Well, that was wait. Hold on. Do I have the easy? But I do.
That was easy.
This is the dumbest segment on this show right now.
And to all, a bit
Look
of
at that. It took all year
to get it right.
Finally,
and
finally
as we bid adieu officially to Tool Time for season 3 of Tool Time. So,
all right. Just looking at a couple of the prop bets for the Super Bowl. National anthem being performed by Reba McEntire. The over-under line is set at 90 and a half seconds, basically a minute and a half. The over is plus 102. The under is minus 128. The yes or no to if any word gets omitted, the yes is plus 900. No is minus 3333.
Oh, omitted from the national anthem by
if she misses a word.
Fact is real.
How old?
Which would be very hard considering these are usually pre-recorded.
How old is she?
60s.
Yeah.
Still fairly young. Okay.
Well, let's see. Tremors came out in 1986, and she not.
How old is Reba McEntire? That's actually a really good question. Reba McEntire is 68.
Ooh.
68. Yeah, I should have done the age game like we do on 3CT. Bing. Any scoring drive shorter than the anthem? Yes is minus 300. No is plus 200. Interesting.
In a history, the answer is yes. So.
Yes. Coin flip. Tails has won 53% of Super Bowl coin flips in 7 out of the last 10. The heads and tails, they're both set at minus 104. Devin said he did not know that the national anthem was pre-recorded. Usually a lot of performances on a stage this big are pre-recorded.
Not all of them, and it's not like they do it 2 or 3 days before.
It's not guaranteed that it will, but a lot of these are.
When has that been a thing? How long has that been a thing now?
Actually, for a while.
Like at least 10 years?
For the anthem, for sure.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because there's a lot of things that can go on. I mean, even halftime shows have a track ready. So while performances are happening, if there's anything that technically goes wrong,
blame that all on Fergie.
All right, the post game Gatorade bath. The colors of Gatorade: purple set at plus 225, blue plus 275. Yellow /lime/green plus 450, red or pink is plus 500. So is orange. Clear or water is plus 1,000, and no Gatorade bath is plus 3,000.
I don't see a world where this game doesn't feature red Gatorade. I mean, look at
I
both.
was gonna say, man, like it's got to be red, right? Like,
yeah, it's a safe bet, I would think. Take those plus 500 odds.
Yeah, absolutely. First touchdown scorer McCaffrey is plus 350. Pacheco plus 550. Travis Kelce plus 600. Rashee Rice plus 800. Deebo Samuel, George Kittle plus 900. Brandon Ayuk plus 1,000. Mahomes plus 2,200. Valdez Scantling. And the 49ers defense or special teams is at plus 3,000.
What the hell is Kyle Juszczyk? What the fuck?
Game MVP, Mahomes is plus 135. Brock Purdy plus 200. McCaffrey plus 450. Travis Kelce plus 1,700. If you want to really get into the odds there, Pacheco plus 3,500. Ayuk plus 5,000. Rashee Rice and George Kittle plus 7,000. I mean, it's going to be a quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Well, see, here's the thing. with as defensively minded as the Chiefs are, here's your hot take. Chris Jones is the pick if you're looking for that long shot.
What's his odds?
I don't have
Okay.
I don't have all of them
because he's not named Aaron Donald. And
I mean, they are out there. It is just probably some insane number.
Just put a flyer in that number. Just put a flyer in this.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, like that's the thing. If you're gonna like start getting into like the prop bets world, you might as well throw a buck on something like that because it's gonna get back a little something. Halftime show, of course, being performed by Usher. Number of songs played. Over 8.5 is -125. Under is -125 as well. If he will debut a new song, yes is -120. No is +100.
So wait, plus 120. That's for Okay.
I'm looking forward to this performance. I really am.
It should be fantastic. It really should. Songs with collaborations over 2.5 is -200. Under 2.5 is +150.
I mean, he's gonna have Ludacris and Lil Jon for one of them, right?
I gotta imagine these.
You would imagine.
Guys,
So
well, see, Detroit didn't make it, so no Eminem.
Right.
That's true. And then of course this year they are the added Taylor Swift related prop bets. Jason checking in. He says, "Go Niners!" After the win, Taylor Swift dumps Kelsey within a month. Wow. Why do you hate love, Jason? Why do you hate love?
No, he wants to get the next Taylor album after that because when the breakup happens, she's going to start writing them songs.
April 19th.
And Jason, being the Swiftie that he is, just like EJ Christian.
I'll say you have it pre-ordered, don't you, EJ?
Allegedly.
You're a
Did
Swift.
you get the vinyl?
I'm thinking about it.
Oh, only a fool wouldn't get the vinyl, man.
You got it. Ordered it already. Done.
Gotta get the vinyl.
Yeah.
Wait. Dropped yesterday.
Exactly.
Will Travis Kelce propose to Taylor Swift? Yes is plus 1060. No is -3000.
Yeah.
Will the MVP mention Taylor Swift in his speech? Yes is +650.
Chris
no
Jones
is -120.
That in fact Taylor Swift has been cheating on Travis with him.
Well, she likes black. She likes black. Nice.
Her travel from Japan to Las Vegas will be shown on CBS. Yes is +400. No is -700.
Dude, I would take a flyer on that shit for yes. 100%.
I would too. Yeah,
absolutely,
sure.
Without question. If nothing else, they'll track the flight. The flight.
Are they counting her walking into the stadium as part of that?
I see that I'm not sure. I mean, I would imagine any. They got to do the OJ tracking the Bronco, right?
Oh, like the Indiana Jones flying from.
Color of Taylor Swift's shirt at the Super Bowl: red -500, white +600, yellow +800, black +1600, purple +1600, silver or gray +1800, and blue or green +2000. And will Donna Kelsey hug Taylor Swift on the CBS broadcast? Yes or no are both -120.
Yeah, I was about to say you should be giving up points for that.
Yeah, that's an easy one. Jason says Brock Purdy gets MVP, goes savage, and sings a Taylor Swift song during the interview.
Listen,
if only
if he's looking to get some bad blood.
I see what you did there. I see what you did.
He is the anti-hero.
I see what you did there, you son of a bitch.
All right. For the last time this year, guys, let's lock it up.
You better lock it up. You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
All right, EJ Christian, what's going to happen this weekend?
My lock for this week is that from kickoff to the final whistle, we will see Taylor Swift on screen at least over 30 seconds. Not including pregame. I'm just talking about actual game time.
During the game
over
itself.
30 seconds of Taylor Swift.
Now, are you counting during the halftime show as part of that?
No.
Just during the game.
During the game play.
Okay. All right. I like that.
Lock it up.
Matt, what's going to happen this weekend?
First commercial will not be for a food or beverage, but for a vehicle.
Ooh,
that's fascinating.
Lock it up.
Any guesses on that one?
No, that's as far as I'll go.
Student of the game, Kyle Nash. What's going to happen this weekend?
Big Jim will hit the over on 4.5 whiny tweets about the Niners seeing success with and then completely will turn tail and sound like Nick Wright saying never had a doubt for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
He ain't lying.
You're not lying, but you deserve that, Kyle.
I like it.
They got laughed too, bitch. What?
My lock is that Tails will fail.
Lock it up.
I like that.
That's a bold strategy, Cotton.
Let's see if it pays off.
Riding
47%,
70% odds against you, Jim.
Let's see if it pays off for him.
47%, right?
What did I say? 7 out of the last 10, 53% all time.
Yeah, 47%.
Question, Jim, for the props. What if Taylor proposes to Travis?
Ooh.
That's my progressive of her.
I didn't see that. And as I was grabbing the odds, I'm sure it's out there somewhere, depending what book and where you're putting these down on.
I mean, Sexist Vegas, needs to step their game up, Jim.
You're not wrong, Kyle. You're not wrong. Let's get with it
on this one here. By the way, I could see. I find it interesting that you're in such a position to still somehow be sympathetic to anti-vaxxers, right? They don't get the vaccine, and then they act surprised that they get really sick from COVID and are in the hospital. You are a Cowboys fan and then get surprised when they do bad year after year. So really, you can sympathize with them.
Well, I mean, the funny thing about that, Kyle, is I'm just an idiot.
Damn, so, I appreciate that very graceful response.
Put it that way. Jesus.
A comment on that one. I have
to say, do we still have the "I'm an idiot" soundbite?
Yeah, I'm pulling up the the 3CC. I should put that on this one as well, because my idiocy does not just stick to wrestling. I'm an idiot. There we go.
There we go.
So
that's
Devin says all he wants to see on the Super Bowl is Jason Kelce shirtless. I mean, you and America both, Devin.
I mean, shit, that'll happen in the first 20 seconds. Like, what are we talking about?
Before the game.
Well, the pre-gaming and like, right, yeah. You got to give him 20 seconds to get out of the club seat window, Matt. Like that.
That's true, yeah. And you'd have to put the shirt back on and then take it back off.
That's correct.
Process here. By the way, glorious chest hair by Jason Daniels.
Oh, it's very nice. And the Funko Pop that you can get with proceeds going to charity gets the chest hair
perfection.
Perfect. Yes.
Yeah.
Just very Michael Fassbender, very Mike Nito.
A beautiful man. The specimen that is Jason Kelce. Jason asked if Travis Kelce wins the I mean, Jason should win MVP. Let's be fair. But if Travis wins MVP, will she be beside him and take his glory? I think she will be there, because I mean, if he wins, that likely means the Chiefs have won the game. So I think she'll be down there, but I don't think she's going to steal the spotlight from him in any way in that moment.
Jim, you make a good point. A little inside baseball too on going down onto the field at the Super Bowl. At about the fourth quarter is when you would start making that move. If the Chiefs are up big, don't rule out Taylor Swift coming down to be on the field on or near the sideline.
Yeah, absolutely. Devin says his lock of the week is going to be Travis Kelce proposing to Taylor Swift, because it is the cheapest fucking thing that could happen. Devin, why do you hate love too?
It really does.
Like Jason.
Sourpuss.
I don't get it being cheap either. I would imagine that the engagement ring that one Travis Michael Kelce would have to produce for a worldwide pop star would be, among other things.
I mean, Steven Singer, who has a jewelry store in Philadelphia, has said that if Travis wants to propose, he would give him the ring for free.
I mean, but the ring would still
hell of a promotion.
They're not gonna listen. Travis isn't gonna go to the stands, find a fucking onion ring, and put that shit on her finger. That's all I'm saying.
Gee, thanks, Kyle. Now I'm hungry for onion rings.
What can I say except you're welcome?
What can I say except you're welcome?
All right, we're gonna close it up. Second to last time, we're gonna close up the live show. Last time when there's still a game to be played. So Matt, plug away.
Yep. You can catch me on Tuesdays and Thursdays on the 3CT podcast, talking all things, let's be honest, WWE. Jim doesn't allow us to talk about anything else on Thursdays, but Tuesdays more of like your smorgasbord, your potpourri episode where we usually just talk about food. And then you can catch me on Mondays on the Maximize Monday podcast, twice, maybe 3 times a year on the Earnestly Speaking podcast. I think I'm up to 2 times now on the Student of the Game podcast.
Well, sir, brace yourself. We're gonna have to talk some dang Sixers here pretty soon after the football season.
This year you have one on my retro podcast already, and you got one on.
That's true. Yeah,
So
I'm stepping up, and maybe one episode of the pitch every year. We'll see.
Don't push it. Devin meant to say cheesy. Sorry, cheesy, not cheap. Got it.
Okay,
cheesy. Okay. You still hate love, but it's a little better than.
You're still a big old sourpuss, Devin.
Yeah, stop being an asshole.
I agree.
Lighten up.
But he says, he says he will talk to Matt, you and I on Thursday.
No, you won't. I'm off this week, so
that's right.
Go to hell, Devin. I'll get it in now.
What an asshole!
Dang.
Devin knows. Devin knows.
Is a disgusting act.
EJ, plug away.
Yeah.
Earnestly podcast. Kyle and I did my first show in almost 2 weeks. I was out last week due to a little mini health scare. Thank God thing's okay.
Welcome back. Better, man. Seriously.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, seriously. That shit was scary. I was having a stroke for a second. Seriously. But yeah, got podcast lineup this week. A lot of shows coming up this week. Can't wait for that. On Twitter at EJChristian7, YouTube page, youtube.com/@ErnestChristian. Other than that, I'm really sad. This is the second last show of the year, but we'll do what we can do as we do every year.
I mean, you're a Heat fan allegedly, right? Like,
go Heat, bitch.
Of course. I'm saying this show. You know, the weekly.
Oh, we'll have another sports movie draft, DJ. You can come back.
I'll show up and not show up, and you put me again.
Viable primate too.
Student of the Game, Kyle Nash, plug away.
By the way, in an unrelated story, Matt, don't be surprised if you get a bill from my therapist for your telling Devin to go to hell at that moment. That was some right cruel. Anyways, of course,
that too.
An honor, joy, and privilege to be part of this panel. I wish everybody would stop fucking reminding me it's the second to last episode because some of us are clinging to life this way. Okay. Of course, I am Kyle Nash, the Student of the Game. You can find me on Twitter, Threads, and Instagram at the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as a Student of the Game. Check out my writings with the Black and Gold Banneret, the Jaguar Report, and the 3-Point Conversion, as well as my work with A7BN Sports covering the Orlando Magic. And yeah, my work also with my guy, Ernest Christian, Earnestly Speaking Report. I had a good time with him. The Duval Dive currently on hiatus as well. You know, the Jack season's been over for a minute. Don't worry. EJ says they're improving. Woo! Wow.
Not gonna crater, but okay.
But yeah, with all that in mind, gentlemen, in honor, joy, and privilege, I would encourage everybody out there to go to the Hilarity by Default YouTube channel as well. Check out the Sports Symposium. Check out the Super Bowl episode. It's a number of years. I think it's like 5 years old, but you'd be surprised how much it still holds up. If you think I'm wrong, let me know. I told you how to find me, but go and check that video out. That's a fun time too. If you want to do a little extra Super Bowl stuff that's less infuriating to listen to, then, well, Chris Collinsworth isn't. Hey, there's your good. Chris Collinsworth won't be calling the game this weekend. Boom!
There we go.
So,
or Greg Olson.
Or Greg Olson, exactly.
We got Nansen.
With all that in mind, fellows, an honor, joy, and privilege. But until next time, class dismiss.
All right, very good. You can follow me at Big Jim Sports, but make sure you are following along with the show at Huddle Up Podcast. Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok is at Huddle Up Podcast. Huddle Up Podcast Inc. on Instagram. You can go to our YouTube channel, also at Huddle Up Podcast. Subscribe to us there. Subscribe to us on all podcast platforms. Like, rate, review where you can. Get our merchandise over at tpublic.com. Hit the link tree and all of our social media for all of those links. We certainly do appreciate the support all year. Again, we'll be back live next week. After that, we will transition to our off-season program. We'll tell you more about that next week. We also look back at our NFL predictions for the year, find out what we got right, what we got wrong. We'll wrap up the season. Can't believe this one's over. It's been a hell of a run, but we have had a blast, and I look forward to next week. Enjoy the Super Bowl, and until next time, stay safe, stay smart, and as always, go for the win.